Hi, everyone. Welcome to finally the TROPT webcast on Women's History Month. I'm very excited to be joined today by not only two very accomplished people in privacy and cybersecurity, but also two organizations behind them. For Women's History Month, we really wanted to feature not just Melanie, who you know, she's a frequent visitor, episode guest here at TROPT, but also Jarell, who is one of the founders and board members of Black Girls in Cyber. We'll talk about some of the topics that are top of mind for us this month. And without further ado, I mean, as always, you guys can always ask questions, but without further ado, welcome Melanie and welcome Jarell to the TROPT podcast episode on Women's History Month, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Lotus.
I'd love to start with, I mean, I always like to ask guests to talk about their backgrounds a little bit, so I'd love to hear more from you and your origin story and how you ended up in this space, in the privacy and adjacent cybersecurity space, so that our viewers are able to find out more about you. Let's start with Jarell.
Hi, well, first I want to say that I am the co-director of privacy at Black Girls in Cyber. The founder is actually Talia Parker. So I just wanted to make that correction, but I am...
Thank you for correcting me.
No worries. I'm from New Orleans. I reside in Atlanta, and I started out, and I'm still in the federal government. Disclaimer, all views are my own and do not represent those of the U.S. or the CDC.
Of course.
But I started out in FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA Council, and naturally it led me into privacy, handling matters regarding the Privacy Act. So just dealing with privacy, access requests, that whole arena interests me. And that's how I pivoted into privacy from FOIA. I am an attorney here in Georgia. I've been an attorney since about 2010. I've been in the data governance area about 10 years now. And that is how I arrived in the arena, basically just learning more and more about our rights, data protection, and the impact it's having on us as a whole, especially in the consumer area.
Thank you for that, Jarell. At TROPT, we really do believe in bringing together the key players that will help fuel privacy tech and innovation, and that includes privacy domain experts like you, who are practitioners, who are in the government and policy domains. You're up next, Mel.
Awesome. Well, hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be on another episode. I am a big fan of TROPT, so I'm always happy to join, and I love these discussions, and thank you, Lourdes, for setting this up. I am the founder and CEO of Discernible, which is a specialized cybersecurity and privacy communications consultancy. So we are highly specialized and very specific in what we do. And we work both with security and privacy tech vendors, the companies that are part of TROPT. But then we also work with the internal security and privacy organizations inside companies. So we are actually helping to elevate the communication efficacy and literacy of security and privacy professionals.
Thanks for that, Mel. And I've really been in awe of the work that you've been doing, not just with the vendors, but with the customers who are buying and helping bridge that gap between those two, because there's so much noise out there when it comes to how privacy tech products are being communicated or marketed. And I've seen firsthand how your work has helped bridge that gap, and then some misunderstandings between the startups, the vendors who are trying to sell, and the actual buyers. So thank you for that. Can you actually tell us about why Discernible? It's Women's History Month, so I'd love to hear more about why Discernible decided to support not just trope but Black girls in cyber, and bring them into the fold of the trope community by sponsoring their membership. I mean, I'm really grateful that you did that. It came out of nowhere for me, but I should have expected it given the work that you've done with other female organizations out there. But what was the thought process there?
Sure. So there's two key reasons, and I don't know that I've even actually explained this to Talia or Jarell or the team. So apologies if this is new information that is coming live. But Discernible, we're a small company, but we donate 10% of our profits to nonprofit organizations. One of the things that I guess one of the pleasant surprises that I learned when I started this firm was I get to decide what we do with our money. And, I spent, almost 2 decades working for like incredibly greedy companies. And I was like, we can share the profit, right? We should be giving back, as much as we can. So 10% is a realistic commitment for us. And, you'll notice if you go to our website and look at our community page, where we're trying to promote these organizations to help get more companies to fund them and to sponsor them. Every single one of them has a focus on marginalized communities. And the reason for that is, as you can tell, I am a white woman. I'm not, shattering any disillusions here. I spent so much of my career feeling like as women in this space, too many of us were just in survival mode. Like almost kind of, every individual for themselves. And, we wanted free tickets, we wanted promotions, we wanted to be taken seriously. And the reality is, I'm an expert in influence and creating movements, and we have to do that together. And I got really frustrated with what I perceived to be kind of white women sororities popping up in our space. Not that they weren't doing good things for the community. I just felt like we were missing a huge opportunity to raise up all of us, because we are going to be fighting this battle until the least privileged among us gets to where they need to be and has equal opportunity and equal compensation. So we had a really concerted effort to support particularly women of color in this space. But the other thing is, I have so much respect for Talia and the leadership team at Black Girls in Cyber. And so it made it a really easy choice as we were evaluating organizations to support, that, this was an organization that really needed to succeed. And we wanted to help in any way that we could. And at the same time, we have TROPT, which is something else that I am very passionate about and believe in wholeheartedly, because we're dumping a lot of technical solutions into the market that the market doesn't want, or that doesn't actually help us improve privacy. It's great to have workflow automation and to make everybody's job a little bit easier. But the reality is, being able to make poor decisions faster doesn't make them good decisions. And so I also wanted to make sure that the women's organizations that we're supporting, that they have an opportunity to be part of TROPT. Not only is TROPT immensely better because of the voices and the perspective and the expertise that are being shared by these amazing professionals, but I have gotten so much personal value out of this organization, and I wanted to share it. It's so important that as practitioners, we are speaking to the emerging technology developers, because we are never going to get the solutions that we want and that we need if we're not engaging with the vendors who are building them and the investors who are deciding which projects and which products are going to come to market.
Thanks for that, Mel. And that actually enlightens me about like the thinking behind your decision. And I really do appreciate your support, not just of TROPT, but of marginalized organizations like the GIC. At TROPT, we do believe, our mission is to fuel privacy tech and innovation. So this emerging privacy tech industry that's just at its nascency. And we believe that we are going to build better privacy tech tools when the people involved, right, the not just the founders and the investors, but the board advisors that we bring in and match with these startups, and the customers who we educate about the solutions out there when they come from diverse backgrounds, as opposed to just one type of persona out there. Jarell, I'd love to hear about Black Girls in Cyber and its mission, its initiatives, and what you guys have in store, at least maybe in the next year, and any calls to action that you might have on behalf of the organization.
Yes, definitely. So Black Girls in Cyber, we have so many ideas, so much in store. Currently, we recently started our privacy and cybersecurity cohorts. So organization is all about empowering women around the world, empowering Black women around the world by providing cybersecurity and privacy job training, mentorship, networking. We want to do it all. And so we recently started our first privacy cohort, and they've done the cybersecurity cohort a few years now. And the number of mentors and mentees that are just so excited, who express how impactful just the relationship between the mentor and mentee has been already. And we just started in March, has warmed my heart. And also the number of people. I know when Talia asked me to be the co-director of the privacy curriculum in this cohort, I thought, okay, how am I going to help get mentors? How am I going to get people to help make this privacy cohort a success? And I tell you, not one person said no. We had more than enough mentors. People are still asking, do you still need a mentor? Put me on the wait list. How else can I help? We filled our spots for mentors for this cohort, but we have a plethora of people that are excited about being a mentor for the next cohort. And even people that cannot be a mentor now still want to find a way to help in some way, shape, or form. So that has been just amazing. I didn't know how much this effort in this cohort will fill my cup. And also we have a summit that we're planning for the fall, and we have a conference next summer that we're planning. So we want to get the word out. We want to, like I said, empower as many Black women around the world to get into cybersecurity, to get into privacy, to see that there are people that look like them, people that are just as skilled as them, and to show them that it is possible. And also, you don't have to feel, I know most of my career, I was the only one, whether I was the only woman, I was the only Black person. And I know people speak a lot about diversity and inclusion, but I'm glad they've added to the acronym now. It's DEIAB. That belonging piece is so important. It's one thing for you to include my idea or to include me in the organization, but it's a whole other thing for me as an employee to feel like I can be true to myself and feel a part of the team and feel like I'm a part of this greater effort versus just checking a box and saying, oh, we have our Black woman here, and she provided her idea, and we included it. So I never even thought that it was possible to go to work and enjoy the people I'm working with every day. And I even want to hang out with these people after work. It's just, it adds to just your entitled wellness, on the clock and off the clock. And like I said, I thoroughly enjoy, and I know what it's done for me to enjoy. Like, I love working with the people I work with. So to help other people build that community, it's impactful for me. But I can't imagine the impact we're having on myself, Talia, our entire organization, and the impact we're having on women around the world.
Wow, I mean, I couldn't agree more about the importance of belonging. So the B part and building community, we've seen that firsthand here at TROPT, and been very mindful about how we built the community to address not just DEI, but DEI, AB. Mel, I'm curious, now that we're no longer within these big organizations, does this make you want to go back and and work for an organization where you belong?
You mean because they added the word belonging? So underfunding?
Not because they added, but because it sounds like there are changes happening in that area. Or maybe that a better question is, are there truly changes, or is it just spin?
So to be honest, is it enough for me? No, but truthfully, that's just one of many reasons why I don't work inside big tech anymore. I work alongside big tech, where I can actually make progress. But I am hopeful when I hear folks like Jarell talking about how much this means to them. Because if we can make a difference for one person, that's worth it, right? But I have a feeling that there are probably a lot of people who are having a similar experience. And it's interesting because there's, as a communications person, I'm just naturally skeptical of what most companies say, because I'm always trying to read the tea leaves of, like, well, what do you really mean? Because I feel like I just have perhaps a little bit too many battle scars. But I think it's a good thing. It's obviously not enough, and of course, the proof is in the pudding. Like, if recognizing that your stakeholders need to feel a sense of belonging is an amazing step forward. But being able to execute on that and to actually have them genuinely feel like they belong in the types of experiences that Jarell is talking about, that is much harder to do. And that's actually the goal, right? Like, it's great that we're evolving our vernacular. But it's not the words, that are really the point in this particular aspect.
Right. It's good to have a goal that's articulated, but you still need to back it up with actual initiatives and work and actions to get there. So it's Women's History Month. I'd love to pivot a little bit and and ask a broader question, which is, what are some of the things? I mean, it's all over LinkedIn. As March 1st, everyone started posting all about Women's History Month, and I'm curious what's been top of mind for the both of you this year as we take time to reflect and think about the message that we want to put out there, or the initiatives that we want to support, or the things that we want to do to further not DIAB in this space.
Well, for me, it's been all about community. I have met so many amazing people, like the two of you, and just being able to attend conferences and meetups and dinners with so many great women, so many great Black women who are in my space. Like I said, I had always been used to seeing the squares, and I'm being the only only person of color, only woman in the little boxes on the online call. So just to have and for years, no one knew what I did. No one in my circle knew what my job was, what it meant. It was just like, oh, Jarell does privacy. So for now to actually have a community of women, like-minded women who work in the field as I do, it's sad that it's 2023 and I'm just starting to see people who look like me, who have shared experiences like me that I can talk with, vent to, bounce ideas off of, feel that sense of belonging, and not feel like, I'm just living for the weekend. Like, oh, I can't wait to get off work.
Right.
So I'm able to do privacy work and do, even compliance work, or do these things and help train. I was hosting a monthly training, Pivot into Privacy training. I'm hosting this Mind Yours Money that I created for data privacy best practices, teaching that every month. And just the community that I ended up building, and the people that would reach out to me. I just had someone reach out to me the other day. They got a new privacy program position, and they were just like, Jarell, you would not be happy. They are not minding yours. They are not, but just to be able to see an impact, and for people who are starting out in privacy to be able to reach out to someone like me or other people in Black Girls in Cyber, to ask questions to, and not just feel like, oh, I have to figure this all out on my own. To have an actual mentor who cares, who checks in, has just made a world of difference. And throughout Women's History Month, I've come across so many people that when they say, oh, I love to connect, let's have virtual coffee, they mean it. Like, we're connecting, we're sharing pictures of each other's kids, you know what I mean? So I'd say Women's History Month has just, this past year, and every year, it's nice to get the kudos from people, and it's nice when people reassure you that you're doing good work and you're making an impact, and you just want to keep doing it. You just want to keep helping people. At one point, I forgot I was doing privacy work because I'm just so focused on the training and the mentorship and the helping other people, lift as we climb.
Yes.
Yes. So
instead of stepping down on people as you climb. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm even like assessing my goals and what I want to do, because Black Girls in Cyber has just been so refreshing to me. And it's just making me reevaluate my purpose. Like, okay, how can I combine privacy and this passion of mine? And it's exciting. You know what I mean? It's exciting.
Absolutely. And that's actually getting me excited. And, after this, I'd love to maybe do a one-on-one with you and see how we can work together. I mean, it sounds like you guys are looking to build community. We're looking to build community at TROPT.
Definitely. Let's do
it. When you guys are ready to launch your conferences and summit and calls for mentors and for future cohorts, we're happy to share that widely with our
summit will be this fall in Atlanta. So we would love to have you.
Thank you. I just invited myself to the VGA.
I am so glad that this is happening.
Yes.
This is exactly what needed to happen.
Exactly. Like, even for like the whole mindset shift, I always used to wonder, how can certain men just, have the balls to say, oh, I'm going to do that. Let's do that. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here like, I need to make sure I have all my ducks in a row. I'm too afraid to ask. I'm too afraid to insert myself. And now with community and people that have helped give me confidence and have, I'm going to repeat it again, have vocalized the impact that I've had, it's made me more confident and given me the balls to insert myself where I see fit. And I'm here for it. So let's do it.
Absolutely.
The secret is that it doesn't actually require any balls if you are a man doing it.
And there we have it. The secret has been exposed.
It sounds like
it's not scary for them.
It sounds like you've kind of found a way to assemble your squad through BGIC, and I love that, because that's exactly what happened to me. Like with TROPT is, like Melanie and I are in this like group signal chat like all throughout the pandemic up until today, and it's nice to just have someone there, even when you're working remotely, even when you're not seeing each other in person. It's nice to also see each other in person once or twice a year. But I'm curious, on the topic of like building community, creating your own squad, I'm curious, what are some of the practical things that you guys have implemented, strategies to do that more mindfully, purposefully, as opposed to just, it seems like pre-pandemic, I didn't really think much about building community, and it was one of those things that really sparked that, that fire under me to be more mindful about.
No, so honestly, I would say social media. I was pretty quiet. Like as far as social media, I would post myself, my kids, and that was about it. But then there was I guess it's still around now, the Clubhouse came out.
Right.
So when Clubhouse came out, so many people would say, oh, Jarell, they're speaking about privacy in this room. You should come speak. And I'm not shy, but I was afraid of public speaking. So Clubhouse it was easy for me to speak on there. I wasn't visible. I could just say how I felt. And so I met so many people through there, and they had me speak at different conferences. And then through LinkedIn, I met people, and IAPP conference, there was a women's group, and Afrotech. I spoke at Afrotech, and that opened the floodgates of opportunity, but also people that wanted to just meet and hear more about what I was doing and how we could partner. So I'd say partnerships have helped me rally my group, because I would have never known all the other people who were doing what I was doing or similar things, because I'm a government employee. So I work in the government space. I never really network much with people in the private sector that were doing privacy. So during the pandemic is ironically where this world opened up of people who were similar to me or who wanted to get in the field. And that's how they wanted to get into the field. I said, okay, I can train you. And so I started training people, and they started getting jobs, and which led to me speaking, because they would say, hey, she helped me. Can you speak here? Can you be on this panel? So inserting myself is how I was able to find this community. I reached out to Talia with Black Girls in Cyber and told her, I love this. I love what you're doing. However I can help, I love to do so. And she said, glad that you mentioned that. I have a job for you. And here I am. So yes.
I love that. Mel, what about you? What are things that are top of mind? Going back to my previous question, and what are some of the strategies that you've also kind of put in place to be more thoughtful about assembling your squad and rallying allies and so on?
So I'm going to build on something that Jarell said in terms of like partnerships. One of the things that I have been a lot more sensitive to over the last couple of years, probably because of the pandemic, but also probably because I moved to a new country, started a new company, and just like have had so many like big life changes, that, you know, I really had to focus on like putting my oxygen mask on first, so that I could help others. And a huge part of that was prioritizing partnerships over kind of like the more superficial gestures of inclusion or community. And so, you know, if I think my relationship with both of your organizations speaks to that a little bit, in terms of I really wanted to get involved, and I wanted to work with people who were building communities, not just talking about communities, because I have limited time, and truthfully, I have limited life energy. And, you know, I think we all need to be deliberate about where we are investing that energy. And I'm not, you know, telling anybody what their priorities should be. But I think having those priorities and being mindful of them is important. And for me, that priority was, I need to see some give and take, because that's how communities are built, right? There's it's mutually beneficial. And, you know, one of the things that I have struggled with, and I'm sure I'm not the only one on this call who has struggled with this as well, it's just the constant expectation that I am available for free work or free advice, for people who are not contributing to community. Right. I am not saying that there can't be a barter or an exchange. But if I'm going to put my time into something, I need to know that it's going towards something meaningful. And I think I've just been a lot more cognizant of like the grifting that's happening under the guise of diversity and inclusion. And so I've just, you know, I've parsed back what I would say maybe the volume of things that I am contributing to, and just really focusing on quality. And so, you know, I think that that's something, regardless of what your priorities are, whatever they are, it's okay to say no to things, even if it's technically for a good cause. You know, there's just only so much we can give as individuals before it starts to break us down. And then, you know, we're not as helpful to our communities, because, you know, we need to like take a time out for ourselves. Right. And so I've been really, really looking for these communities. And of course, Black Girls in Cyber was an obvious one when I found it, where they're lifting people up. They're not just leeching off of the membership, right? That I can see people growing and evolving and getting so much out of what this organization is providing. And it's not, you know, it's not a front for people who are just trying to, you know, pursue their own like interests, right? There are a lot of people who build personal brands on the backs of these types of groups. And, you know, I've been really mindful of that, because if I'm giving my time and my money to those groups, it means I can't give it to somebody else. So for me, I guess this, sorry to be like the Debbie Downer of the conversation, but I do think, you know, especially those of us that are, you know, experienced professionals in this space, we have a responsibility ethically and morally to, you know, kick the tires on some of this stuff. And, you know, let's invest where we're having the most impact. Let's invest where we are actually building community, and we're not just, you know, like putting up social posts.
Thank you for voicing voicing one of the serious problems that women face, which is that we are expected to be the primary caregivers, not just at home, but even in the workspace. We're expected to be in a meeting, the ones taking down notes and getting coffee and all of that. But I love how you've been very thoughtful about, no, I have to take care of myself first. And that's certainly something that women, not just women, but everyone, each one of us have to kind of have to do first. We can't help others without helping ourselves first. Jarell, it looks like you have a couple of thoughts in your mind there.
So I want to tell Mel how inspiring she is to me, because along the same lines, I have been more thoughtful, and when people reach out to me, whether it's to speak or to do anything, I'm saying no a lot more. And it's because, and I'm like, that's not a good fit for me. Right. And I'm proud of myself to be able to do that. I used to just say, oh yes, that opportunity. Oh, as if like, oh, I'm just so grateful that you choose me. But I'm doing the choosing now because I know my worth. I know what I bring to the table. With over a decade of experience and almost 40 years of life, I know the value that I'm adding. So that alone, like I definitely admire Mel for that, and I look up to her for that, because it's made such a difference in my quality of life. I have two toddlers. I have a husband, I have a family, and that's also important for them to see as well. I don't want them to look at me as, oh, mommy's a workaholic, or, I want them to see like she stands for something. She stands behind this. These are her goals. And, I'm proud of her. So I keep all that in mind. But when Mel said oxygen mask first, I have it on a sticky note on my door, and that is long. I love it. So I just wanted to give you your flowers, Mel, and
thank you.
And Black Girls in Cyber. We are always looking for programming, volunteering, just building community for those who see our vision and would like to support our vision.
We'll share links in the comments, and when we send this out to the newsletter, if you can share them with us, so that the community can
definitely. And just to get ready for our next cohort, and we've had, with our privacy cohorts, we've had people to get placed in jobs and fellowships, and it's life changing. It really is, because a lot of us didn't have or didn't know about certain jobs or careers, or I didn't have an attorney, in my family. We're figuring these things out as we go. We're making a lot of mistakes along the way. And, we may get there, but man, if I would have had a mentor, someone to help me get there a little quicker, a little less mistakes.
We hear a lot from privacy tech startups who desperately need privacy domain experts. So that's another way where we can maybe play matchmaker there again.
Definitely.
I feel like I can talk to both of you forever, but we are coming up on time. So before we start to wrap up, I have a couple of quick lightning round questions. Are you guys game?
I'm down.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So who's going to go for, before I ask them, I guess let's go Jarell and Melanie, and then let's just, go that way. I'll ask a question, and then you guys take turns answering them. So when you're thinking about the future of women and other marginalized groups in this space, the emerging privacy tech industry, but also the adjacent cybersecurity space, and let's just say the broader tech industry where we're sitting now, do you feel hope or dread? Pick one.
I feel hope.
Nice. Well,
She has answered the question.
she's like, I don't want to answer this question. Different question, Lourdes.
I feel, I just feel rage.
Oh no, it's not one of the multiple.
I know.
Yeah,
So
the answers.
the answer is both. I
Yes.
see really clear signs of both.
Yeah, especially with BGIC, like organizations like BGIC makes me feel. I pick hope for that reason alone. Okay, next question before we start wrapping up. There's a hypothetical billboard that, let's just say, billions of people could read. What message about Women's History Month? What Women's History Month message would you like to leave there if this were to be read by billions of people?
Don't be afraid to build a legacy that inspires people. I feel like I just, for a long time, I wanted a job that made a lot of money, or I felt like I may not have had a goal that aligned with what people felt like it should have been. But now I just want a legacy that inspires people.
And I love that. I love that. And I actually needed to hear that. So thank you for sharing that, Jarell.
I would say it's okay to play the game until you have the ability to change it.
Yes.
Love that. Well, with that, I would love to invite you both to share any closing comments before we end this episode, or any calls to action that you might have. Jarell, certainly on behalf of BGIC, where you can be found if you want to be found. That's your privacy choice. Where folks can go to engage with BGIC, and likewise Mel for Discernible as well.
Yes, please, at Black Girls in Cyber. Reach out, send a direct message, email, partnerships at Black Girls in Cyber. We are here, ready, and excited to work with you.
Thank you, Jarell. Mel?
So I'm on LinkedIn, Melanie Ensign. I think you can probably search me. And then I quit Twitter last year. So the best place to find me is on Mastodon. And I'm at Wednesday at defcon.social.
Love that. Thank you, Mel. For me, on my end, my call to action is probably not a surprise to everyone in the TROPT community, and that's to join us in June at the TROPT Privacy Tech Leaders Summit. So for the first time, no one knows this actually, it's confirmed for June 12th. So if you guys want to join us, there's a link to join us. We'll share that all over, and we'll also send out the newsletter announcements on this and update our website on that. You'll see, I hope we'll see Jarell there, but you'll see me and Melanie there, and a few other people in the TROPT leadership and community. And
Lourdes does host the best events. So
well, that's our birthday week.
You will want to be.
Yeah. Yes, and it's in Santa Cruz, California, by the beach. So it might be like a 2-in-1. So you get to hang out and do community building and also celebrate your birthday.
Nice.
So folks, thank you for tuning in. I can't wait for the next time, obviously, but also to see everyone in person in June. And with that, have a wonderful weekend. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Lourdes. Take care, Jarell.
Thank you.
Thank you.